Hello, everyone. Welcome back to another episode of the Fluffy Biscuits podcast, where I am still being held captive in a basement at a undisclosed location, mainly because I do not know it. Of course, I am here with my good friend, Zach, otherwise known as Pixelated Trash. I myself go by Nazir TL, and of course, my name is Jacob. And today we're gonna chill. Might take a personality test later, delve into that, just some interesting ideas or concepts about it. But I do have a topic for us to get into, unless you want to say something here at the beginning, Zach.
I do want to point out that twice now we've done intros to the podcast and have not introduced ourselves, but each of us once now, to like the very end where it's like, oh yeah, and by the way, here's who I am.
By the way. So, my first topic. Okay. You know, the reason why this topic is getting brought up. Did you know that TwitchCon is being held, like, as we speak?
Did you know that I don't know what TwitchCon is? I assume it's for Twitch.
It's a convention for Twitch streamers. Okay. Yeah. So, this leads into the whole topic, but one of my favorite streamers, Will Neff, I feel like he's underappreciated in space. He's a phenomenal streamer. He's great at every piece of content I've seen him do. I just want to point that out. I stan him. We're here. But it brought me to this because he tweeted yesterday that when he got to TwitchCon, he tweeted that he was in the elevator with a group of friends heading down, and the elevator stopped and then fell 10 stories and then just stopped at like the 10th floor or something. The 36th floor, I think. And it brought back up this topic I wanted to talk about. Mm-hmm. Because he's very big into sandwiches, and that tweet brought this back into my mind. He is a sandwich connoisseur. If anyone who listens to this has ever watched his streams, he loves talking about like sandwiches. He has his favorites. He has his biases. Whatever. I am a very picky eater. I don't know, how picky of an eater are you?
It's weird. I'll eat everything, but I want to eat it my way. So there's nothing I really won't eat, but there are a lot of ways you can hand me something that I would eat, and I'll be like, nah, I don't like the way you did that.
The vibes were off here.
Basically.
So this intro topic, I kind of want to, okay, so picture this, right?
Picture this.
You are going... playing Pictionary now. You're going to the park. It's a lovely afternoon. You're gonna catch the sunset. You're not gonna have time when you get home to eat before you have to go to sleep. But you have a fridge filled with it's a magical fridge.
I'm going over to
magical. It has any sandwich, meats, condiments, items like foliage. Anything you could imagine in it.
Foliage?
As well as...
Do I have a fern in there?
No, you have foliage, bro. You also have any kind of chip that you would normally have to go with the said sandwich. What would be your number one sandwich? And why? Like, go through the steps.
Well, that actually plays really well into what I was just saying about how I like a lot of shit. And I don't like the way a lot of people make it. I'm not talking about specifically people. I'm more referring to like restaurants or fast food or something like that, as opposed to like if I go over to grandma's house and she makes lasagna and I don't like the lasagna, I ain't gonna be like, grandma, your lasagna shit. But it's like, if I am going out to eat somewhere, like recently I've sent food back at Red Lobster and Olive Garden. In the last like 2.5 years, I've sent food, and Chili's. So my thing is, with sandwiches specifically, I want everything on it. I want everything on it uniform, though, and I want everything on it to be on it. And it's like, you go somewhere like fucking McDonald's and you get like a Big Mac, you get back home with that thing, you open the box up and it's like the fucking Leaning Tower of Pisa with like half the shit just like falling off the sides. So it's like, yeah, I love everything you did here, but I'm not crazy about your execution. So I think for me, if I was making...
You like the presentation.
Yeah, and also the mess, which I just don't like messy food. Well, I mean, I don't like messy food unless it's supposed to be messy. In theory, something like a burrito, something like a sandwich or a burger is in theory supposed to be relatively clean. Maybe you'll get some sauce on your hands or something, but like in general, it's not supposed to be like a cascading fountain of grease when you like pick it up, in my opinion, of course. I know some people like burgers like that. But that's my big issue, is that it's like once that burrito bursts out the bottom, once that taco sauce starts dripping out the side of it, whatever it is, I'm just kind of over it. So I definitely, when it comes to sandwiches, I prefer wraps because I can get as much as possible into the tortilla and then wrap it all up good, keep one end open, and then just go to town on that. So probably if I'm making a sandwich, it would have...
Well, for this ideal concept, we'll say like you wrapped the sandwich like perfectly into like the parchment paper, and it won't come apart. So it's ideal.
As I would if I made it at home. Taco Bell, don't hire me. I don't want to work there. But my point is, it's like I could do it better. No, I would use Italian meats, probably Genoa salami, pepperoni, smoked ham, and prosciutto. And then I'd probably use diced pepperoncini peppers, diced jalapenos, diced banana peppers, onions, tomatoes, lettuce, olive oil, vinegar, salt, pepper, and mayonnaise. That'd be like the full sandwich.
What kind of bread?
I'm partial to French, but French can like start to get hard real fast, especially if it's got like been sitting there for like a little bit. So but I'd go French probably. Or actually, Hail Mary move, I would break into Subway and steal their Italian herb and cheese roll, and then I'd make my sandwich on that. Yeah.
Okay. I don't think
breaking into Subway wasn't on the list.
Subway is not that good.
No, I don't think they are
Subway
either. I just think that
not
bread's good.
But okay, that makes sense. I'm pretty sure Subway also doesn't call their bread anymore. It's bread product.
Because it's not real bread, like in the traditional sense.
Yeah.
It's very preservative heavy. You mentioned chips, though. If I had chips to go as a side of my bread and chips. If I have an empty loaf of bread and a bag of chips. Welcome to Subway. When you're here, your family. I would have, and this sounds like a bit, and it's not. They're honestly my favorite chips. My true favorite chip has been discontinued for the last couple of years, but my replacement, it was a Walmart exclusive brand called On the Border, named after the chain of Mexican restaurants, but it was Tajín, the Hispanic seasoning.
Yeah.
It was Tajín seasoned, and they had them in 3 levels of mild, medium, and hot, and I really loved the medium there. But my replacement for that...
I shit you not, I think there was Tajín down here.
Just
literally last week.
Oh, y'all were probably like making drinks or something.
Not to cut you off, but we also have South by Southwest sauce down here.
As you do, of course. Got to make sure that those Bloody Marys come out extra smoky. But no, my favorite now is if you remember that one chip challenge that got so popular for like a really brief second.
The Pocky.
Yeah, their actual brand makes a ghost pepper, ghost pepper flavored tortilla chip.
I like those.
It's way too hot for me. I burst into sweat the minute I started eating them, but I'll eat the whole fucking bag just going, I hate it. Oh God, I hate it.
So leading in, or not leading in, but going over mine, I'm not totally sure on the bread, so I'll get to that last. I like a good, like a deli ham, like ham that's straight up, it's just cut at the deli. I want that. I want peppered. There's some weird noises going on above me. I want peppered salami.
That's fair. Yeah.
as for, I can get behind some like jalapenos on it. I can get behind that because that brings a little bit of the heat. Because I really enjoy spicy things as well. Okay. I'm a big guy, right? Big guy. Trying to work on that. Doesn't matter though. Big guy at heart. I, as a kid, grew up. I love just regular potato chips. It doesn't matter like what kind of flavor they are. I enjoy the saltiness of most of them.
That's fair.
But when I was in high school, one of an acquaintance, I wouldn't really say friend, but they gave me a bag of like Takis. Do you eat Takis?
I don't, but Mallory loves them. She crushes them like all the time.
Yes.
Her favorite is the
Oh,
hold on, let me try to remember this for you because you might care. Crunchy fajita is the name of the flavor. That's what she gets all the time.
I do not eat any Takis other than the purple bag.
I don't eat any of them.
I only eat the
They're too
purple
crunchy for me. I don't like them.
Well, he gave me that bag and it enlightened me.
To what?
Because it's my favorite chip.
Fair.
Takis are my favorite chip. I enjoy the heat. I enjoy everything about it. Doesn't matter. That would be on the sandwich.
Fair.
The Taki. The reason why I say like I enjoy it, I know it would be that. I think it would be that for almost any sandwich. But if I couldn't have that, it would vary based on what was on it.
Oh yeah.
I could crush a bag of those in like 20 minutes if I wanted to. If I did not put a limit on myself, I would.
Do y'all have a...
It's kind of like eating goldfish, like the crackers. You're just like, they're so small, you just keep eating them, and then you're like, fuck, the bag is gone.
Do y'all have a Golden Flake brand up there?
Golden Flake?
It's a southern brand of potato chips, but I think they're from Alabama. But we get them in like every convenience store down here and stuff, and they're real thin. Like they're not crunchy like a Taki. They're like real crisp. Like when you bite them, they just kind of. But man, they have a couple of really good flavors, but they have one that's just called Hot. And now as a kid, we'd have a family-sized bag of that almost always. That and Sweet Heat, Southern style Sweet Heat barbecue to be specific. But we'd have both of those, and both of those on any kind of deli meat sandwich was pretty killer. If you wanted just a crunch.
To just finish off my my ideal sandwich would be, so we got the ham, we got jalapenos, Takis. I want the Takis on the sandwich. I don't want them on the side.
That's fair.
I want them on that shit because I feel like the juices from the jalapenos would also make them a little softer, but still have just enough crunch because they are pretty crunchy. As for the bread, I don't want the bread to be hard because the Takis are there for the crunch, so I want something a little softer. And I don't want to put cheese on this because I want the cheese in the bread. So Food Lion, believe it or not, they sell, like, it isn't like, it's not crazy good, but it's available, so it's become my favorite.
I feel that.
If that makes sense.
That's 90% of my grocery shopping.
They have two breads that I really love. They have rosemary and olive oil bread, which you can get it as like a whole loaf. And then they have Asiago cheese bread, which you can also get for like a loaf. And they're like $4. Yeah. I would put, because the loaf is like a square, like this big, maybe. Mm-hmm. Maybe as big, like maybe half my iPad, like this much of my iPad.
I gotcha. So they're smaller loaves.
Towards the thing. Yeah, but they're thicker. They're a lot of calories.
They're more condensed. Like they're not real long, like a French bread loaf. I see what you're saying.
If it was an ideal sandwich and I didn't have to feel bad after eating it, and I just consumed an unholy amount of bread and meat, then I would make that whole fucking loaf into a fucking sandwich. I'm just stating a fact. And then I would have a fucking lemonade next to it.
Oh man, you describing that bread though. There used to be a restaurant around here, and I know it's a chain, but we don't have it around here anymore, called Macaroni Grill. And they kind of competed with like Buca de Beppo and Olive Garden and stuff. And I remember when I was like 17, my grandparents wanted to go there, so we did. But I like a lot of Italian food. I do not like chain restaurant Italian food. Olive Garden, Buca de Beppo, Macaroni Grill, whatever it is. It's the blandest nothing. Not a fan. Take me to somewhere called like, Mama DiVincenzo's, and I'm sure I'll find something there I like. But like the chain stuff is just real garbo. But I did not want anything on the menu. But they brought out this bread that was like, I want to say it was like rosemary, olive oil, black pepper, all kinds of stuff in it. And they sit it down on like a cutting board right in front of you. And I just, for free, they kept bringing more bread. So while everybody was eating, I just ate like 3 loaves of bread, just dipped in like garlic butter. And I was just like, fuck it.
Dude, bread is a sin. Bread can be phenomenal or it can be the worst. Actually, before we move on from just sandwiches and delve into like whatever we go into, have you ever made like a sandwich out of stuff that just shouldn't be in a sandwich?
I mean, I do imbibe from time to time. So yes, I've been known to create something that Gordon Ramsay would hurt me with.
Okay. So I'm gonna elaborate to you. So as a child, because I don't really like pasta, so whenever my dad's side of the family would make pasta, they would get like the baguette and make garlic bread with it. I like garlic bread, but because I wasn't eating the pasta, he would save some of the garlic bread or the bread that you used to make it. He'd cut it in half. And then maybe like a day or two later, he would put like olive oil on it and then just bake it and make it like crispy. And it was like a good snack. And I remembered this years later because I was staying with them at the time and I walked upstairs and there wasn't anything that I was particularly fond of eating. It was like, I want a little bit of everything, but I don't want to just have everything on a plate. And I realized that they had this bread for pasta like the next day. So I was like, I'm going to go ahead and claim half of this loaf. Took it. I did the olive oil thing. I put it in the oven. I'm like, we're going to put it in there. I don't know what I'm doing this yet. I scrounge through, I find bacon. And I'm like, all right, we're making bacon. I didn't fry it. I didn't put it in the oven. I put that shit in the microwave because that's how you cook bacon.
I thought you were just going to say
fast.
You ate it raw.
No. I put it in the microwave because after you put it in there for like however long you need, and when you let it sit, it does become crunchy, like as crunchy as it would be if you had baked it or whatever, fried it. The next thing I did was I went and I found potato wedges in the freezer. I found them. I threw them in the oven with the bread. And I was like, potato wedges, bread, and bacon.
That's fair.
This isn't enough. I went back in, and I'm just like finding leftovers at this point.
Yeah. Just scrounging.
I look in there, I see like a tin foil thing. And so I grab it, I open it, and it's a hamburger that no one ate. It's just the patty. So then after the bacon, I warm that up and I like tear it apart and throw it in the sandwich when that comes out.
Fair.
I then go in, I find some McDonald's chicken nuggets.
What is in your fridge? You've got an uneaten burger, nuggets.
There was a lot of people living in the house, but no one ever ate leftovers. They would just... I have a family member that's notorious for going out to eat, right? Going out to eat or grabbing a glass of something to drink a little bit, eat a little bit, and then put it in the fridge being like, I'm going to eat that later.
Oh, so you know Mallory. Cool.
And never eats it later. They never ate it later. Even though they said they would, it just goes bad. So if something had been in there and it was about to go off, I'd be like, it's getting eaten today.
That's fair.
But all that stuff gets put on a sandwich, and of course, we didn't have Takis. This is like around the time when I started to enjoy those, but we didn't get them as often because they weren't as available around here.
That's fair.
So, I believe it was Zapp's Voodoo. It wasn't Voodoo. It was like their barbecue chips. I think.
Yeah, I'm familiar with those.
It might have been Voodoo. It was one of the other. I put that on the sandwich too. And you may be like, was this sandwich packed? Yes. I had to like carve out some of the bread.
Like you're working at Jimmy John's.
Yeah, I had to carve out some of the actual bread to fit everything in this. And my friends like to make fun of me because I don't like sauce or condiments. I don't enjoy condiments like ketchup and stuff. So I did not put anything to lighten up the bread.
That's fair.
Or anything. It was literally just all hard, crunchy stuff on bread.
Enjoy my hard,
that
crunchy
was also
sandwich.
Baked and toasted. But it was unholy. Let's be honest here. I think that was also... That was probably... Because Takis didn't... Like, they were around here, but they were only in, like, certain stores until very recently.
Yeah.
So that might have been near when I was, like, turning 21 or something, because I was drinking. I'm pretty sure I made that when I was drunk.
Yeah, I've had some moments like that.
Sounds like one of those things.
The problem for me is that after my last relationship, I got real into cooking. And when you're cooking for one, you buy a lot of ingredients that, like, essentially are destined to go bad. Like, so because even if I would make soup in like a crock pot or something, and it's like, even with all the ingredients I throw into it, even if it's gonna feed me for like 4 days, it's like I've still got half an onion sitting around, I've still got half a bell pepper, you know. So when I got kind of into cooking and was single, I was like, well, I just gotta cook, and I'll just, whatever I find in the fridge, I'll cook. And so that led to some pretty notoriously bad moments where I would just kind of throw everything into one big fucking pot or more.
I distinctly remember me and Josh, the guy who came down here last episode to guest speak about Pokemon Arceus. I remember us talking to you one day. It could have been Pulsar. It could have just been one of those nights where we talked like a year or two ago. Probably around a year ago. And you were like, all right, boys, I would sit at my computer, but my chair is broken. And we were like, just go get a dining room chair. And you're like, all those are broken too, except one. So you had to go get that.
I did.
But then you were like, I'm also going to cook dinner. It's meatballs. And then you leave and you come back and you're like, it didn't turn out so well.
So I didn't know anything about how to make meatballs. I didn't understand that you put binders to hold them together and stuff. And I had half a pack of ground beef in the freezer that I had thawed in the fridge and was going to cook with. And I got all the... I knew you needed... I don't think you even do. I thought you needed egg yolks. Like, I thought you needed eggs for some reason. And so...
Some people do. You do that with, like, burgers and stuff.
Yeah, but I did it really bad. Basically, I had a big mixing bowl, threw the uncooked meat in, then just kind of mixed a bunch of seasonings in, mixed it with some eggs, grabbed big balls of it, put it in the oven. Anyway, it all kind of fell apart. I highly recommend, if you want to see kind of about how it goes, go look up the YouTube channel Kay's Cooking and watch her make her meatballs. It came out kind of like that, except they were a little more ball looking.
Kay's Cooking, isn't that the lady from...
The Scottish lady?
Duck Dynasty?
Oh, no. No, this is like a Scottish lady who cooks real bad food as a bit in her kitchen.
Okay.
And I'm almost certain it's a bit, but it's really funny. But no, it was just a disaster. And so I came back up, and I actually think after that I was like, I tried to save them with something. Like I remember running back downstairs and being like, I'm not just gonna throw this away.
I thought you pivoted to tacos.
Oh yeah, that's what I did. I broke those shitty meatballs up in a skillet, and I poured a thing of Taco Bell taco seasoning you could buy at Walmart over it, and I was like, fuck it. They tasted awful because I'd already put so many like Italian seasonings in before I did that, but fuck it. It was a meal.
I would like to state, didn't you have a gripe with me about one of our trailers?
Oh, I think I did, but I don't remember now. A gripe with you about one of our trailers.
It's something that you're doing right now.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, for anybody watching, I've discussed this before. The medication I'm on, it really helps my nervous tics. I don't chew my fingernails to nothing, and I don't like rapidly like stomp my foot like that. The big thing that has replaced all that, though, is that I'm constantly just... And it's a lot more than it looks like. So you're looking at it on here, but if I kind of turn the side profile, you'll see there's a big old clump down in here just of all this good stuff too. So I'm kind of just constantly
He's messing with his beard for audio.
yeah, if you're listening to it, you can't hear it in audio and you can't see it in audio. So for audio listeners, I'm trying to stop saying so much. For video listeners, I'm trying to stop molesting my beard all day. But it's hard. it's calming.
It's funny because for one of our trailers that I put on the YouTube channel leading up to the podcast going live, I had taken random clips just from random episodes that we had recorded, which is like from the first 4 or so. And I didn't really even pay attention because I wasn't using the audio, I was just using the video for them for the first part, and then I went and grabbed the audios after. But that whole first part, in every little video section, because it was like a collage, and it was like zooming out, every part of that, Zach is just sitting there going through his beard. And he was like, "Did you do this on purpose? Because I feel like you did." And I'm like, I swear I didn't do that. I didn't even notice until you pointed it out.
It is fair, though. I do it a lot, but... I do it while I'm driving, when I'm working and I'm driving. Oh man, I'm doing it like all day. It's like, it's gotten to the point where it's like, some nights I come home and I like shower a second time because I've made my fucking beard so greasy all day. Just like I'll wake up and shower and then I'll come home and shower because I'm like, oh God. It's just filled with all my finger sweat. I'm a man with some sweaty fingers.
Did you want to do that personality test?
Oh, sure. Yeah, Jacob wants to know how compatible he and I are, so I'm going to take a personality quiz just to be sure I'm his type.
Well, the thing is, right,
Mm-hmm.
It interests me to like a curiosity extent of just like curiosity killed the cat kind of way. Just like, I just want to know.
Turn on some night
Not
lights
really
when I'm
that...
out.
It's not really that I think it's cool or that like I believe that personality type defines who you are or whatever. It doesn't. I don't really care about that. It's more of I have some friends that do believe that stuff, and I find it interesting.
That's fair.
So I basically wanted you to take it. I've already taken it. I wanted you to take it. Tell me what you got, and then I'll tell you what I got. And we could we could try to pick out what parts are true about each other.
This says it takes 10 minutes. Well, I finished the SAT in 5, so I bet I got your beat. Game, let's go. No,
it takes like 3 minutes.
This thing says, there's a
most.
quote at the front that says, "It's so incredible to finally be understood."
That's weird.
Anyway, take the test. Free personality test.
There is no test.
You regularly make new friends. I would slightly disagree. Spend a lot of your free time exploring various random topics that pique your interest. Heavily agree. Seeing other people cry can easily make you feel like you want to cry too. Pretty agree.
Well, here, while you take it, I will enlighten people on where I'm at.
Okay.
So, due to interruptions at my place, I am recording the podcast from a undisclosed location in a basement because I was kidnapped. That is the official story. But the unofficial story is that I am at a friend's house and I'm in the D&D room because we play Dungeons and Dragons, and by D&D room I specifically mean the basement that we have converted. As you can see by this tapestry, I am on a humongous D&D table right now that is littered with props, just everything. We have all the D&D books you could ever want over here. I'm just gonna grab some. This is just 3 of them. There's like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. There's at least 14 books within eyesight. And there's some in drawers. There's a shelf with some miniatures. Yeah, it's pretty cool. But this is where I spend my weekends anyway, so I figured I'll just go over a little bit earlier and we'll knock out some podcast episodes down here, because while the lighting is not the most optimal, it is in no way, shape, or form dim. And I already spend a lot of time here, so it's a place that I'm comfortable with, and my friends upstairs, or my kidnappers, if you want to call them that, they agreed to, not bother me while I'm down here.
It's taking longer than anticipated. You'll see a random jump cut. It means Jacob ran out of vamp. He ran out of vamping material.
No. So, fun fact, before we did this podcast, I have a different style podcast that I do with another friend. It's on a hiatus, but that's whatever. It's mainly about D&D and video games, almost strictly pop culture stuff. It's very meticulous in the way we sort of go about it, I feel. It's a different format. But because I DM a game, and then I play in a game, and then the other DM is my friend Khalid, DJ Khalid, as Zach would call him. He also DMs here. So this room this section of the basement is almost like a collage, or like a random piece of splatter art where you can see, like, I have a shelf over there with, like, the whole top part is all my miniatures, and then the bottom part is his, and then he brought over a whole cabinet for books and stuff, and I brought over a whole cabinet for more miniatures and, like, board games. But leading into that, we have one D&D table right here. There's one over there off section that's our old one that's just made out of pallets that was phenomenal for the longest time. But we just decided we wanted a smoother surface to play on, and not just pallet boards where dice could fall through. Behind this tarp is a third D&D table that is a smaller version of the one that we are sitting at, essentially. And that is where we streamed a D&D campaign, a short one called Quincy's Crew. It was very enjoyable. It was in the Eberron setting. I believe it is still up on my channel, sans the first episode possibly, which is, I think it was probably my mistake, but I also feel like the actual video file got corrupted, and I just forgot to pull it off of Twitch. And for audio listeners, you can't see any of this, so if you want to see what I'm pointing at when I point, you can go watch the YouTube episode. What you looking at over there?
I'm done.
You're done?
I am.
Do you want me to go first, or do you want to go first?
Sure. Are you gonna read your whole little descriptor thing about the thing, where it's like, because it goes through like these lists of like what you are and stuff, and like I guess how that plays in.
Well, I'll do the intro.
Okay.
I'm not gonna go further into it other than that. But I do want to, because there is a section that tells you what characters from stories or your personality type, or real life figures are your personality type. So I would like to see both of ours, icons.
Man, my percentages are
icons.
rough.
Well, to start off, I got Architect.
Oh, same.
Oh, you got it as well. Okay. Well, then we can just go through it together. I've been talking for quite a while. Would you like to read through the
Sure. I don't. We'll have to see if our percentages are different though, because they probably are. Architects are imaginative and strategic thinkers with a plan for everything. This is about personality type INTJ-T. I do not know what that stands for, but we'll figure it out.
It's like introvert versus extrovert.
Oh, I see. Okay. So
and then judging versus perceptive, something like that.
I got 54% introverted for energy, which introverted individuals tend to prefer fewer yet deep and meaningful social interactions and often feel drawn to calmer environments. They also pronounce drawn with an M like I just did. Let's see what else we got. I got 62% intuitive as opposed to 38% observant. That seems insulting. Intuitive individuals are very imaginative, open-minded, and curious. They value originality and focus on hidden meanings and distant possibilities. That's the mind. For nature, I got 64% thinking as opposed to 36% feeling. Thinking individuals focus on objectivity and rationality, often dismissing emotions in favor of logic. They tend to see effectiveness as more important than social harmony. Ooh, so I'm causing trouble out here. Under tactics, I got 75% judging and 25% prospecting. Judging individuals are decisive, thorough, and highly organized. Yes, sure. They value clarity, predictability, and closure, preferring structure and planning to spontaneity. Okay. And then lastly, I got identity. 88% turbulent to 12% assertive. Turbulent individuals are self-conscious and sensitive to stress. They feel a sense of urgency in their emotions and tend to be success-driven, perfectionistic, and eager to improve. And then it asked me for my email address.
What's the letters next to your thing?
Let's see. I got INTJT.
I got INTJA.
Ooh, oh, because you're not turbulent. Yeah, because it's introverted. And then what was the other one? Like intuitive, something like that. And then turbulent. Yeah, turbulent is how I ended. So that's probably the T, whereas the A is assertive.
Yes, because I didn't catch your percentages. What was your percentages again?
Let's see. We got more introverted at 54%. I got more intuitive at 62%. More thinking at 64%. More judging at 75%. And more turbulent at 88%.
Okay. So mine is introverted 59%, intuitive 76%, thinking 55%, judging 58%, assertive 71%. And then it gave me some sort of strategy.
What?
And it's called confident individualism. I don't know.
Oh, did you do your thing with like the email? Oh,
yes. Okay. I had to save it because I took it a few days ago.
Yeah, that's fair.
But I find it interesting because some people will look at these and be like, if I know, like, you know, your personality type, I know who you are. And it's like, do you though?
Yeah, I highly doubt it. For instance, this is saying insight of the day. Archetypes are the most likely personality type to enjoy being single. I fucking hate being single.
I like it.
That's fair. It's for you. You see, you're the assertive one. I'm the turbulent one. I need someone to bring peace to my, whatever you call it, manic energy.
I feel like to an extent they can be true. You know what I mean? Like some of them could ring true, yeah. But it's almost the same. It sits in the same aspect of like tarot.
Yeah.
Does that make sense? It's almost like they're throwing a bunch of stuff at the wall, and of course, because you threw so much, some of it's gonna stick.
Yeah, no, I mean I feel that it's like tarot or like what's it called? Astrology.
Zodiac signs.
It's like that's the thing is that as long as you use the rationale that it's really just a very blanket concept being thrown over. And it's like, I think of that kind of stuff as like, you know, in like detective shows or movies or anything like that, where they have like a cipher and they put the cipher over the paper and then they can read like a hidden message out of it, right? I think that when you're talking about things like astrology or tarot reading or anything like this, there is truth to it. And I think that it's almost like you are the paper and then they just kind of lay the cipher over you. And it's like, these are the parts that stick out that match between you and this like thing that they're trying to put on you. Whereas it's like, if you were to actually take it off and read the whole thing, then they're going to be drastically different every single time. But if you have this one set thing where you're like, well, 80% of Virgos agree with this, so being a Virgo means you have this, then that's when it becomes like, okay, well, like, you know, if you get broken up with because you're a Libra and they think you Libras cheat or something like that, that's when it gets ridiculous. But I think it's interesting when you look at it just on the like outside and you don't really like, when you apply reasoning to it, I guess.
I don't really want to delve too deep into it. I just thought it was an interesting thing to do on the podcast. It's a little activity.
I'm sure all the people there love me just mean mugging the camera for 5 straight minutes while I clicked different options.
I'll put like a Goofy mustache over your real mustache.
And just put a picture of Goofy. Disney never sues. We're fine.
No, I don't know about that. What, you had something you wanted to go into, didn't you?
To finish up this one, yeah, I wanted to talk because we were thinking about doing what's it called? Think about doing I lost my train of thought. Think about doing a retro games
retro game
episode, and I wanted to bring up in today's episode because we were talking about talking about personality tests and all this weird stuff, and I want to bring up the topic of give me more weird games. I need more weird video games. There used to be so many weird games, and now it's like no one makes weird games unless it's meant to be weird, but then it's like, that's not the point. Like,
what's the point? Yeah.
Like,
good weird games strive to be a normal game and then ended up weird.
Yes, like, I was going through some games because I'm trying to get back on track with what I'm going to do with the YouTube channel right now. I'm trying to find a game that I'm going to just kind of steamroll and finish the whole thing real fast. But I was looking at some games and it's like, man, PS1, you had like LSD Dream Emulator. That's like the weirdest fucking game. All these horror games I've been playing for the Spooktacular, it's like, they're so weird, but you don't like see anything like that too often anymore. And a part of me wonders if it's graphics, because to me, that's what really
A memory popped into my mind about from when I was editing your Spooktacular. There was a particular scene that whenever I would be editing, because of course I watched through it. Yeah. I listened through it to make sure that there wasn't anything weird that I needed to cut. And to my knowledge, of course, I didn't see any because it didn't get cut. But whenever I would click the timeline, I'm always zoomed out at particular points. So it always, if I click a general area, it'll always snap to one point. Yeah. Unless I zoom in and then it has different snapping points. So it would always snap back to this one thing where you're in a hallway. I don't remember what game it was called, but you're like going through a school. Yeah, that was Iru. Okay. You're going through a school and you're looking at this guy and you're like, so what am I supposed to do here? And there's like desks behind him and you're like, what's that sound? And you're like spinning around, but clearly if you're looking at the dude, his foot is tapping. And I'm like, Zach, his foot's tapping. No, I spent like probably 5 real life minutes, like off and on. Every time I had to go near him, I'd hear that sound again and I'd start running around looking for him. That was fucking great. But there just needs to be more weird games. I don't know. I'm just kind of throwing that out as an ending note as we talk about here, because I recently got the PlayStation Premium. I had PlayStation Plus, upgraded to Premium to get the game catalog. And I was going through the game catalog and it's like, I don't know. There's just nothing like it that used to. I guess it's more of like a PC like genre, the kind of like weird experimental different games. It's because of it's easier to launch a game on PC than it would be on PlayStation and stuff.
Yeah, I mean it's easier to everything for a game usually on the computer. It's even easier to get it out for sale probably.
Not to drag you off your topic, but I am holding something that I thought would be kind of interesting.
And it's a gun.
Do you know what this is?
With one bullet in it. Oh. Is that a gun?
Kind of is.
I mean, yeah, isn't that the like?
No, it's dice.
Oh, okay. It looks like a.
So over here,
thing.
it's like a revolver, and it has dice, or it's a revolver cylinder, I think. But the dice are stored in it, and they're bullets.
Oh.
And they're for like Western games.
So like little bullet dice.
It has like all of them. Yeah, it goes up to D20. Like from a D6 or a D4 to a D20. And they're just different flats on the bullet that have different numbers. It's really cool. Khalid bought this. He has the idea that he wants to spend an outrageous amount of money on dice. So he's finding a bunch of random oddities of dice and buying them.
I feel that.
That's expensive. All of that is metal. None of that is plastic.
I mean, it looks really snazzy. So for those of you who couldn't see it, it was like the cartridge of a revolver, the loading cartridge, whatever it's called, chamber, and it cylinder. Thank you. And it opens up to expose several dice that look like bullets. It's real snazzy though. It's got a big logo on the top of it. I couldn't make out what it was though. But for anyone curious, it's there. Oh, Jacob's messing with it.
No, I was telling someone that I'm already over here because right after the podcasts are over, people start showing up for D&D.
Yeah, that's fair.
And we usually carpool over here because there isn't a lot of parking space.
Yeah, but you had to get on delay a little earlier. Had to get a show on the road a little earlier. So we can get this stamped out.
What would be, because you weird games. I never got into weird games.
That's fair.
Maybe it was because it just wasn't a big thing with the YouTubers I watched or the people that influenced me. My favorite game, I'm gonna tell you a funny story.
Okay.
I have 2 game stories. So, I love both of them. This is the funniest shit. I'm not going to name any names.
Okay.
But I have a particular cousin that I would always play video games with whenever I would hang out with them, right? Spend the night over there with them and like their family a lot. Basically, that's where I found my love for like horror games like Silent Hill.
Yeah.
Because we'd play Silent Hill all night. And they were older than me, so they would be playing, and I'm just like, it was essentially probably the reason I enjoyed watching gameplays on YouTube.
Yeah.
Because I would just sit behind them, watching them play the game, like up until like 6 a.m. when I had to go to sleep. I had to like sneak across the house because their parents were waking up to go to work, and I'm just like, we're not supposed to be up.
No, that's fair.
But there was this one particular moment, because in Silent Hill, it has the loading screen for every door, right? Yeah. You go through a door, and it's like a loading screen. It's like, dun, dun. So they put a ball in a sink, and that's one of the puzzles. You have to follow the ball, and they put the ball in the sink, and they're like, ooh, my God, some stuff is going to happen. I can feel it. And they go and open the door because it's in the bathroom. They go and they open the door, and the loading screen pops up. And the loading screen for this one was particularly long, and I'm like, man, there's definitely going to be some monsters out here now, because they had killed all of the ones before. It doesn't matter. During the loading screen, because it was taking so long, I was like, I have a fart, a mean fart cooking right now. It's been cooking like all night. I let out the loudest fart right behind them. They literally, it's like 4 a.m. They screamed like someone was about to murder them because they're just like anticipating monsters coming on the screen, and just from behind them, just like a roar of a fart comes out.
Lord.
It was funny. But before we got into Silent Hill, I would bring like my GameCube over there. And we play Super Monkey Ball.
Oh, that's a good game.
Super Monkey Ball, one of my favorite like GameCube games.
See, that's a weird ass game. You're a fucking monkey in a hamster ball, and you do like platforming. Bring back my weird ass games.
It is a weird game. But I love that game, and I was good at it as a kid. I'm probably terrible at it now, but as a kid, you have that weird innate ability to just be good at video games.
Yeah.
I know as a kid, I could get through all of the Pokemon games without reading a single word. I would just beat them, and I'm just like, okay.
I couldn't, but that's because as soon as I fail a puzzle, I give up. I'm like, I figure it out later.
With the Super Monkey Ball, I'd be doing the levels, and I'm just like flying through them, but they're over there just like, I can't beat the game. What's happening? And there was this one part, I remember it so vividly. I forget what monkey ball it was, but the map is almost shaped like a guitar.
Yeah.
And because you come in from the like the bar going down or whatever, and then it elongates the body of the guitar, and then it has the strings.
Yeah.
And you can go across the strings, but you couldn't go in between them; you'd fall through. So you have to balance on the very thin strings. And it was like a difficulty measure, and I could go on like the thinnest one, and they're over there trying to get through like the thickest one, because it's like it's not very much thicker, but it's just a little bit thicker. It's a little easier, so anyone could get across the level. Yeah. And I swear, it was like an hour of like non-stop making it a third of the way across and falling off, or like a quarter of the way. And they finally get to what was it? It was probably right to the edge, like you're in the fourth quarter. You're right at the edge. You're about to beat the level, and they had to sneeze, and they sneeze, and they're all tense because they've been trying to play this. They've been trying to beat this level for an hour or so. They're all tense. They sneeze. And immediately when they sneeze, they piss themselves because they were so tense.
Oh,
and I'm just sitting behind them like, what the fuck just happened?
Oh, no.
And I'm just like laughing uncontrollably behind them, and they're like, shut up, it's not funny.
Oh, man.
This is also in the middle of the night. This is also like 3 a.m. or something.
God. That'll be easy to explain to parents,
just like
at least.
trying to not be loud.
I was ramping the ball so hard I just pissed myself.
But those are my two stories about
I feel that.
weird games.
I feel like that's probably a good note to go out on, as being consummate professionals. We have not addressed it, but I've been getting quite the internet connection errors with Jacob here, and kind of trying to feel my way through the things he's saying, because I'm not hearing all of it. But we've been going good enough. We've got enough information. Y'all understand the point, and with that, I will guide us out. If you watch this on YouTube, you can get this audio-only version on Spotify. If you're listening to this on Spotify, you can watch on YouTube at the Fluffy Biscuits podcast channel. If you can see more of Jacob at NazirTL on YouTube, you can see more of me, Zach, at CommanderGC on YouTube. Music played throughout this episode included CYG in Lonely Waves and L Train Kaleidoscope. The intro and outro of the podcast is done by me, and it is called the Fluffy Biscuits podcast theme by me. So thank you all so much for watching, and remember to follow if you want to see more, and we will see you later. Bye.
Alrighty.